Look at how healthy these roots are. I'm going to show you my rooting secrets. Stay tuned. Hello happy YouTubers, this is Marcelina at cashewgreens.com. So today we're going to be propagating cuttings, and I'm going to show you my top 3 plant rooting secrets, and this is going to help increase your success. Alright, now plant propagation has been challenging, and one of the many challenges is rooting a stem. Now in this video I'm going to show you how to root the stem so fast, so easy, and you get a huge success. So I have been doing this one for so long, and I bring a lot of success in my propagation, and I share it to you. So let's talk about the number 3 secret. All right, so the number secret I use here is trimming and making a cut. Now for most people said, like, is it really relevant to how do you cut the stem? My answer is yes, it is relevant because it allows your cuttings to begin callousing. Now callousing, as you can see, I have my cuttings here that's starting to callus. Callousing is the first formation of the root, or it is a scar tissue healing. As you can see, this is the callus, and it's going to develop roots. So that is my secret. Number 3 is making a cut or trimming. Now I use 2 methods of cut. One is the straight clean cut, and the other is the 45-degree angle cut. Now when you do a straight cut, mostly straight cut is used, I use it in succulent or vegetative cuttings or softwood cuttings. I use straight cut. Like let me show you here. So a straight cut, like for example, this is my succulent plant. This is geranium. So when I do a straight cut, I will cut closer to the node, something like that. It's 1/4 inch closer to the node, because the closer is the cut to the node, the faster the callousing and rooting to take place. So that is the cut. Now in woody stem or semi-hardwood cutting, I use the angle cut. It's a 45-degree angle. Now 45-degree angle, I mostly use it in, like, if I propagate roses or propagate hibiscus or any kind of semi-hardwood cuttings, I use 45-degree angle. Now when you do a 45-degree angle, you are going to create a cut away from the bud. You are not going to damage the tissue. So I would say like that, this is the bud, then I will cut behind it, and that is a 45-degree angle, so the cut is aiming away from the bud. So now what happened for the 45-degree angle, and I use this cut because in unrooted cutting, when you remove it from the parent plant, you are losing too much moisture or too much water from the tip of the leaves. So it will exit that to the leaves. If you don't give it water right away, then the cuttings will dry out. So by having a 45-degree angle, it allows this stem to draw easy water. All right, so the water will draw easily. So that is my secret number 3. Now secret number 2, rooting hormone. Now I use a rooting hormone. No, hold on. I made a mistake, guys. I use rooting hormones. This is Clonix mist, Clonix gel, and cloning clone solution. And some of the people asking me, like, Marcelina, why are you not using cloning clone solution now in your system? Well, the reason for that is that because it is so expensive. Clonix clone solution is very expensive, and I have tons of system to operate. Then I would be going through battle of clone solution in my system. So you can use the clone solution if money is not a problem. So if money is not a problem for you guys, you can use clone solution. Now speaking of rooting hormones, one of the hormones, plants has their own natural hormones, and the natural hormones that used to stimulate rooting is the auxin. Now auxin, mostly high in concentration in the apical meristem, apical meristem or primary meristem is the end point of the tip of the shoot, like this one here. So it is high concentration. Now when the plant is producing high amount of auxin, the auxin will travel from the tip down to the plants, to the roots. Now bypassing the bud. Now that's why some of the bud is in dormant, is not stimulating, because the auxin is drawing from the top down to the root. Now if you cut, like for example, let's cut this one. If you cut the tip of the cuttings, oh, I damaged, hold on, let's get another one. Okay, if I cut right now, there is no bud in here, it's in dormant stage. If I cut the tip of this, the bud here is going to develop, all right? So because the hormones is going to that area to repair. So basically, auxin is a soluble protein that is responsible in growth and cell division. It regulates that cell growth. Now, depending only with the natural hormones in plants, your success rate of your propagation is low. Now, you might see people using or saying like, oh, I use cinnamon, I use vinegar, I use aspirin in my propagation and I do well. Well, in some point, you can use that. But if you are propagating tons of cuttings, or you are running a plant shop like myself, I run a plant shop, I need something to accelerate my propagation so I can maximize my growing. So if I use cinnamon, I would not be able to root all of my cuttings. So my success rate would be lower. Now, this is why I use the synthetic hormone. Now, synthetic hormone, there are different types hormones you can buy. You can buy powder, you can buy liquid or gel, but I stick to the Clonix gel because I get a huge success rooting all my cuttings. Now, I have people asking me, Marcelina, I don't have Clonix in my area. Where can I buy it? Well, you can get it on Amazon. I will link below this video. After you watch this video, check the link. You can buy it on Amazon, and Amazon is everywhere. But if you cannot find it, then use something. I would say use willow tree, because willow tree acts almost the same as the Clonix, and it has high concentration of butyric acid that is going to help your cuttings to root. And there are a lot of videos on how to use the willow tree. So basically, you cut the tree and branches and then soak in water 24 hours and dip your cuttings, and then it stimulates rooting. Now, this one here, the Clonix, I use this misting because when I do my propagation, this is going to accelerate my rooting. So I had to, if I propagate this plant, I have to spray this plant a week prior to propagation. And this is going to increase the rooting in the plants. So when I propagate, it increases that hormones, right? Now you can apply this misting 1 week prior to propagation, and then 14 days after you already the cuttings in place, you have to spray it again. This is going to stimulate the root formation. Now I have this one here, hold on. So like this hydrangea here, actually I'm going to remove these leaves because you don't need leaves, too much leaves. It takes energy away from it, and then you would not be able to root properly. So in Clonix gel, you just dip your cutting and then set aside for a few seconds. Now some of these stems have this distal end farther. Like for example, let's see. Like for example, this Hoya here. This is just an example, all right? Because some of the plants have long stem, and for Hoya, even if you cut and keep the long stem, you need that because Hoya, it creates aerial roots or adventitious roots. So you need that stem. Now for other plants that don't root on the midsection, then you need to cut it closer to the node. Now the midsection, which is this stem here, couldn't remember. All right, so this is the too much in my mind, guys. All right, so this section here is the mid, how to say that, not mid, internode. Oh my goodness, just bear with me. All right, so it's the internode. Now the internode acts like a vessel that carries fluid from node to node. Now if you cut too long, it takes energy to reach to the node. So this is why before it rooted, your cuttings before it roots, then the stem will be rot. So that is the problem, because you don't cut it properly. Your style, your technique of cut is not properly done. So that's why it is turning black and rot. That is one of the major problems in propagation, is root rot and stem rot. Now for the Hoya, then there's no problem. You can cut whole. All right, so now so we're done with the second secret, which is using the synthetic hormone. The number one. All right, so I'm here next to my system. Now there is no other way to root the cuttings with huge success. I bring higher success using the system. That is why I operated a lot of Aeroponics in the greenhouse, including the area where I propagated majority of my house plants. So I use this system. This system is really helping me to root my cuttings so fast, and you don't have to worry about being your cuttings being diseased or root rot or stem rot, because the water supply to the cuttings, which is very important in unrooted stem, is given to the plant continuously in just a small amount. Now what happened, why the stem is rotting? Because the water, you're giving too much water. By using the system, then the system will provide by itself. It's automatic. Now the complete Aeroponics system includes the tub, and then the 2.5-inch hole where you put the insert cup, the net cups, and we have the pump. I will just link the system below this video, guys. Just check the link. So it includes the pump, includes the misting, which is the misting system that provide that fog, and it is also including this atomizer float device, which float the system, so it reaches directly to the cuttings. It reaches that fog quicker to the cut. So as you can see, I have this fog going on. Now make sure that when you do your Aeroponics, your water must be in the middle, not too high, because if it is too high, it interferes the fog. The fog doesn't do its job properly. And if you put too less water, then it takes a while for the fog to reach to the cutting. So make it sure that it is properly filled with water. All right. Now what is great about this system, because you can propagate a lot of cuttings, and you can root even the most difficult plants to root. Like you can root the most difficult that I experience in propagating using Aeroponics is propagating calamandin cuttings, but it's still rooting. It's just taking time to develop roots. So you can place a lot of cuttings in one insert. Now the drawback of putting too much cuttings in one insert, some of the cuttings don't develop roots, but don't worry. Like for example here, I want to show you here. Now like this one here, so I just take out, I place like 5 cuttings on this insert, but I remove some of them because they were rooting, and then some of it is not developing roots, but there is a callousing. Now if it happens, if you put a lot of cuttings in one insert, then you just leave it in there. If some of them will root, then the cuttings that don't develop roots yet, then you can put it back to the system, then it continues that roots to develop. So you still have that roots. So that is good about Aeroponics because it is clean, it is fast, and it is less to worry. Just make sure that the system is working properly, because otherwise, if the system is not working, all your cuttings will die. Then you lose your production. So this is great. So if you need the system, guys, just check the link description below. I will link this product below, and get at cashiergreens.com. Start with the mini Aeroponics and try it for yourself, and then I can rest assure you love the system. If I love it, then I have to make sure that I share my love to you. All right. So this is for now, guys. Thank you for watching. Marcelina at cashiergreens.com. See you next time. By the way, before we wrap it up, if you enjoy watching this video, give thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe, guys. Join the family, and make sure that your notification icon is open so you can see some of the video that I'm going to upload every week. All right. Thank you again. See you next time. Peace out.